Sniper here!
Support Sniper was first picked in a professional game by Kuroki at ESL LA 2020 on the 17th of April, with him rushing an Aghanim Scepter which had recently been reworked to make his ultimate, Assassinate, fire much quicker, which was previously one of the level 20 talents. It also causes it to start previously for 1.8 seconds, but it's reworked to 1.5 seconds in 7.26C. The pick, however, was not an instant success, with Nigma losing the game, but Kuroki had managed to show the concept to the rest of the world, with other teams now picking up the hero semi-regularly, most noticeably Team Secret. So why support Sniper? Sniper had always been a core, probably one of the most classic mid laners in Dota 2, but is now being picked more as a support, being picked 15 times as a support as of writing, while only being picked 14 times according to that Dota in the 7.26 patches. Well, first of all, there's the obvious, the change to Aghanim Scepter. The change to a more utility-based Aghanims made Sniper a more viable support, having an almost instant far range stun, which has a low cooldown and a decent damage, can be fight winning. Also, level 10 talent, now a 15% cooldown reduction but previously 25%, means Sniper can really spam out his 2 spells, which as a support are your main sources of damage and control, meaning simply put you'll be doing 15% more damage, controlling the enemy team 15% more often, as well as if you pick up items such as Force Staff or Guardian Greaves, they'll be ready to use so you can repeatedly save your team. Shrapnel when cast does damage and slows in AoE as well as giving vision. You have 3 charges which have no cooldown in between casting, meaning if you want you can use all 3 charges in quick succession, but then have a long restore time of 40 seconds each. Shrapnel is probably Sniper's best spell, as you control the fights from the backline, slowing and damaging enemy heroes. If the enemy decide to try and disengage, you can place down Shrapnel, disrupting and hopefully stopping them getting away. You can also force heroes to go on you in lane, place down Shrapnel, then trade with them. If they stay, they'll die as they'll be taking large amounts of damage from the Shrapnel. If they try to leave, you can chase them down, and they'll most likely die as well. This is especially good against heroes who either want to walk into fights, or heroes who want to use Blink Dagger to initiate fights, as you can completely control their movement around the fight, cancelling Blink Dagger and slowing down their initiations. Overall, I think this is best shown by Yapzor in Team Secret's first game against Na'Vi in the final of the Gamers Without Borders tournament, where he puts on a dominant display on the hero. Although being second picked, the draft he was playing into showed the strength of the hero. Combined with the slow from Puppy's Enchantress and the stun from Zai's Dragon Knight, they were able to kill the Slark they were laning against early on. When going to kill the Rubik, who had moved into his team's triangle, he controls the Rubik's movements with Shrapnel, forcing him to turn back into Nisha's Zeus, who then bursts him down. Since Zai is playing a tanky off-laner, it's unlikely that he'll die. Yapzor is able to move across the map, warding and reacting to Na'Vi's rotations. He uses Shrapnel to aggressively push in lanes, getting himself farm and helping his team take objectives. During fights, he places down Shrapnel to split up Na'Vi, resulting in Necrophos being killed. He also uses Assassinate whenever available, doing good chunks of damage and keeping vision on the opposition, which helps his team chase them down. When his team goes high ground, he places Shrapnel down around the barracks, giving vision of the enemy team's movements and dissuading them from trying to stop Secret's push. Since Sniper can farm waves easily with Shrapnel, Yapzor has both an Aghanims and a Blink Dagger by 30 minutes, but this is where the game ends. So let's talk about Yapzor's item choices for this game. He starts with a set of tangos and a Ring of Basilius, which is pretty standard for a position 4 at the moment. He then gets a boost of speed, then queues up the Aghanim Scepter. After he gets Aghanims, Yapzor decides to go Blink Dagger, but the game is basically over by the time he gets it. This all seems pretty standard, but let's specifically talk about the Blink Dagger. Yapzor is playing against multiple heroes that want to try and jump the backline, those being Slark and Mars. Being able to reposition with Blink Dagger is really nice, dodging Pounce and Arena of Blood, which allows you to continue Assassinate spam and lay down Shrapnel. Yapzor's skill build this game was max Shrapnel, then maxing Take Aim, with Headshot being the last spell leveled. This links back to the Blink Dagger purchase. Yapzor wants to be able to sit back out of danger, away from the Mars and Slark, so he can help win team fights with Shrapnel and Assassinate, as well as his right clicks, as even though they don't do much, it all adds up when trying to get a kill. Now, I first tried out the concept of support Sniper back in December, when I was trying to play core heroes as a support for fun, and Sniper seemed like he could work. I realised when playing him as a core he is too weak overall, but he dished out a lot of damage early on. Shrapnel was doing the most work by far, so building him as a support, you could really abuse the 25% cooldown talent, now 15%, to spam it out. This also applied to Assassinate, lowering the cooldown to 15 seconds, now 17 seconds at level 1, meaning you could abuse this low cooldown to deal a lot of damage in fights, getting off at least twice, maybe up to 4 times. I played around the cooldown talent, getting Guardian Greaves, then an Aghanims. I figured being able to spam out saves for my team like no support could other than Dazzle would be really strong, but what made this much stronger than Dazzle is that I also did damage. A lot of damage. As you can see, I did the most damage in this game, even though there is a Kunkka, Viper, and a Klinx, all heroes capable of doing massive amounts of damage throughout a game of Dota 2. I also healed for 5.1k, having Guardian Greaves on a 30-second cooldown, now 35.5, was huge, giving my team the sustain it needed to comfortably win fights. I didn't even need the Aghanims this game, since we had suitable control over our Kunkka, Lion, and Viper. I wouldn't build the Veil of Discord on Support Sniper, it's a bit too greedy for what it offers, and I was just trying out what could have been good on the concept at the time. I asked for some advice for my build from T-Governor, former Chaos Esports Club coach and manager, in his Discord that he has for his coaching streams. T said that to make the build usable, I should get a 4-staff before Guardian Greaves, and abuse the fact I could have a 4-staff on a 17.25 second cooldown, now 19.55 seconds, then build Guardian Greaves or an Aghanim Scepter. Now what surprises me is that I don't see anyone building Arcane Boots on Support Sniper. You gain more value out of them compared to other supports because of your early cooldown talent, and you can end up being low on mana often since you spam out Assassinate and Shrapnel, so having Arcane Boots really helps. I've seen players either go Boots of Speed into Ags or Tranquils into Ags. Tranquil Boots do seem very nice in Sniper, giving you the much needed move speed as the hero is relatively slow. Now the build that I would recommend. I'd say you'd want to start with a set of Tangos and a Ring of Basilius, skilling Shrapnel level 1. You should then try to build Arcanes or Tranquil Boots while maxing out Shrapnel and Take Aim, or taking a value level in Headshot at level 2. Once you have Arcane or Tranks, you should then buy an Aghanim Scepter, then look to get a 4-staff, then Guardian Greaves. You could also build a Lotus Orb or Spirit Vessel if the game requires one. You should obviously take the 15% cooldown talent at level 10, and then take all the Shrapnel based ones after that, those being the move speed slow at 15, the damage at 20, and the extra Shrapnel charges at 25. What's nice about Support Sniper is that later in the game you always have the option to build it as a core if your team is struggling for damage. Remember, this is a guide, not an order. Yapzor max take aim seconds since he needed to stand at the back of the fights to dodge the Slark and Mars. Build the hero the way you'll think it'd be the most effective. If you think you can position in fights correctly, you might consider maxing headshot second, with the value level being take aim instead. It's flexible. So that's it. That's pretty much Support Sniper. I've got no idea how relevant this video will be in the future, since IceFrog may decide that he's seen enough of this fun and distinctly different concept and just nerf it to the ground. If you find this helpful and interesting, please say so I can continue making these guides / articles or whatever you think they are. I don't even really know what they are at this point. So yeah, that's it. Hopefully you find this useful, and I'll see you in the next one, I guess. I'm out. Bye.